Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at a liner that isn't as well known and the fantastic book that does its life and afterlife justice. The ship in question is the SS President Coolidge, and the book is The Lady and the President, written by Peter Stone. The President Coolidge was built in 1931 and was one of two near-identical sister ships, the other being the President Hoover. They were the flagships for the Dollar steamship line. And no, they were not called Dollar after the Prophets. They were called Dollar because they were founded by Captain Robert Dollar. And he lived under 4 rules, which I'll read out to you. His 4 rules were to fear God, be honest, work hard, and be thrifty. By necessity, the Coolidge and Hoover could not be thrifty. They were flagships and thus had to be the most modern, most luxurious, most well-engineered liners that were available. And for a brief moment in the early 1930s, on the Pacific, they were just that. The life of its sister ship, the President Hoover, was incredibly short. In 1937, it ran aground and was scrapped, with rumors being that its steel was taken, recycled, and used for the Japanese naval building programs. The President Coolidge in 1938 had its funnel colors changed from the dollar emblem to the eagle emblem, as the now bankrupt Dollar steamship lines was reorganized, refinanced, and became the American President lines. In 1942, with the outbreak of World War II, well and truly underway, not even outbroken, the ship was converted into a troop ship. But through a series of administrative errors, it sailed straight into an American minefield in Espiritu Santo, struck it, and sank, with the loss of 2 lives. The relative accessibility of its wreck has meant that the Coolidge has had a wonderful afterlife as a premier diving attraction, and its location means that it can offer different experiences for different skill sets. Novice divers can still go down to the bow and have a look at the guns there, whereas more experienced divers can explore throughout the wreck and go much deeper into the engine rooms and into some of the accommodation blocks. All this is covered in this wonderful book. Peter Stone has done an authoritative job of covering every aspect of not only this ship's creation, life, and afterlife, but the various factors that provided context around it. We get a brief history of the Dollar Line and the problems of American merchant shipping in the late 1920s and early 30s. We understand the problems involved in early World War II as the American Navy stepped up their activity in Guadalcanal and in the Pacific. And we also get a wonderful look at what happened in the post-war years, both the rise of diving and how the wreck was treated throughout that time, and some of the pioneers who not only found the wreck but also began diving and documenting all the artifacts. Speaking of artifacts, the reason why this book is called The Lady and the President is that in one of the first-class lounges there was a sculpture of an Elizabethan-era woman, and it was colloquially known as the Lady. And so now it is one of the favorite photo stops of divers, and you can see one shot up here. Since this book was published, as it's now about 20 years old, the condition of the Lady has deteriorated, but it has been restored by the diving community. I do love this book. It flows very well. You don't feel like you are reading an encyclopedia or a dense conglomeration of facts. Everything flows, and it flows beautifully. There are fact boxes throughout that detail specific aspects of the ship and the diving community, for example. It is wonderfully illustrated throughout. And the standout is a montage of stunning and dramatic photos that document the way the ship keeled over and sank. And you can see two of those photos up here now. The middle of the book has a color section, and we can see some rare and beautiful contemporary color photos of the Coolidge in its peacetime glory, as well as photos of the wreck in its early 2000s condition. And Peter Stone doesn't just stop there. He even provides a variety of customized itineraries so that divers of different skill sets can go down and appreciate the wreck of the Coolidge. This book encompasses a shipload of information, and for me it comes at very close to 5 captain's hats, just on the cusp. I'll give it 4.5 captain's hats. For anyone who is interested in American pre-World War II Pacific ocean liners, or indeed just ocean liners in general, this is a fantastic book. If you love diving, and especially if you love diving on liners, get this book. There's even entire chapters on some of the Pacific wrecks and Million Dollar Point that are around the wreck of the Coolidge. So, divers, wreck enthusiasts, liner enthusiasts, this book will be perfect for you. And for those who are interested in American President lines and the companies that came before them, may I recommend to you this book by John Niven. It will be reviewed at a later date. It is in the queue. And if there are any other ships or wrecks, or if you are curious if a particular ship has been covered in a book, let me know in the comments below and I'll let you know. And should I have something in my library, I will absolutely review it for you. So, until next time, enjoy and happy reading, everyone.